Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our September 28th regular session. We're going to call this meeting to order. First, we have an invocation and a pledge to the flag. This week, our invocation is going to be given by Pastor Lynn Gaither from In His Service Ministries. So if you could please stand.
Heavenly Father, we come before you like Congress did in 1787 as a collective body. Father, the men of old realized that there is no greater counselor and no one wiser that could settle all issues and concerns better than you. Romans 13:11 states, "Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God." Therefore, Heavenly Father, as we begin to review and address the issues at hand, we ask that you impart your godly wisdom upon us with clarity and depth of understanding. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, and thank you, Pastor. We are going to be following the rules and procedures effective December 15th. Please make sure your cell phone is silenced. Any correspondence to be distributed to elected officials should be provided to the city clerk. Our meeting schedule for October is as follows. October 5th, 12th, and 19th, we're having a work session at 4 p.m. And October 26th, we're having a regular session at 7 p.m. We do have some appointments this evening for the Board of Traffic and Parking. So if I could get a motion for approval.
Madam Mayor, I move that we appoint Tamara Pitts, term to expire July 31st, 2024, and Gordon Poffenberger, term to expire September 30th, 2025, to the Board of Traffic and Parking.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Up next, we do have citizen comments. We didn't receive any citizen comments by email, but we do have 2 people signed up to speak this evening. So if you could come forward and state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes. Up first, we have Troy Gandy.
All right, Mayor Keller and distinguished City Council and all connected. I come to you on a happy note. I'm Troy Gandy, born and raised in Hagerstown, although my address now is 13147 Shawnee Circle in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. Like I say, I was born and raised here. I left here in 1983 after graduating from Hagerstown, now Community College. And after 28 years, returned, always thinking that I could add some value to the community in which I grew up in. So I came up with a nice concept. I figured this is a good place to start, always. And it's called a Believer's Unity Walk. The next one that I've been doing it since 2013, every year, with the exception of last year, COVID. And we have another one planned for this October the 2nd. We gave you earlier notice, but you only have one meeting in month. So I'm here now to give you an invitation. So those who can make it and can extend it to the rest of the city, we would greatly appreciate it. And like I say, it's called the Believer's Unity Walk. And we can do this together. And it's an effort to bring the community together and be a means to uplift the community in many different ways. So we invite all the organizations, social clubs, businesses, wealthy, from the wealthy to the poor, the churches, the schools, teams, colleges, counselors, real rental agents, counselors, insurance brokers, basically all walks of life. So, and it does have, or it could have, a very good economic benefit to the company, to all the citizens as well, from the businesses to families and individuals, especially with COVID, knowing that there's been a lot of loss of income, and our businesses have suffered as well as families. So if folks could get sponsors for the walk, during the walk, it would be a way for them to possibly save themselves from being evicted, or being out of business, and also offer a means of doing so without being an additional burden on the city itself. So that's basically all I have. It is this Saturday coming, October the 2nd, and it'll start and reconvene back at Wheaton Park, which is one of the historic sites in this great city. The gathering is at 9:15. There'll be a little worship service up until 10 a.m., until 9:50. There'll be a prayer before we do the walk, and at 10 o'clock we'll walk. And it's basically a 3-mile walk that convenes up Charles Street, down Potomac Street to Franklin Street, back past the old historic Asbury United Methodist Church, and straight through the heart of Jonathan Street. And during that walk, we basically lift up prayers over the entire city. There's a lot of prayer, there's song, and rejoicing and fellowship. And once we convene back at Wheaton Park, there is it's grown legs now. So we've had guests coming in from Cleveland, Ohio, who will, their Powerhouse Performing Arts Center will be doing a nice liturgical dance routine, and then there'll be a couple of vendors there to offer services to the community. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Up next, we have Mr. Mike Stout. Thank you.
I want to first apologize for pictures that I sent. I'm not too good at doing that. My purpose to do that to you all, first, I learned a good lesson today. The mayor came over. You are being blamed for the hospital mess, and I'm going to call it a mess. Take a look at that picture. That's one day's roundup of needles. Needles and whatever. Yesterday, it was 21 of them. This is a hospital property. I blamed you all because everybody's telling us that you all own the property, and then the site where the helicopter lands, there were 14 needles up there and plenty of clothes. So Chief Langston, Captain Langston came over and brought me a container to put them in. So I'm picking them up, and I will tell you that I've been HIV for 40 years. So I'm living proof you can live. But there's children over in those parking lots. Last night was a very good example. A youngster was riding a thing, and a gentleman stood right in that Mulberry lot parking lot where the hospital owns, behind the garage, shot up and threw the needle on the ground right in front of all of us, and kept on going. I showed the mayor both sides of the hospital. Well, there are needles galore, and if you go over and look in the screen, there's about that many more. They're getting in that building. So I called the hospital. I got the runaround. Hang up on me. Call this one. The man that you're supposed to get on vacation. Well, the man I did get gave me the first crack off the mouth. Well, if the city would send the cops around to patrol and the city would do something, we're under contract to sell the building. And this is what I told them. Until you sell that building, that's your property. It's your responsibility to come over there and get those needles or clean it up. They're sitting over there smoking crack. They're sitting over there being hauled out in ambulances, ODing. There was an OD over there night before last, right in the church parking lot. It's terrible. They're on meth. We can see it over there. We've had 5 robberies in cars in the last 5 days. I caught the gentleman, but I hate to tell you, I was in my boxers at 2:30 in the morning, and no shoes. I happened to come out to get the paper. I heard it hit. There he was trying to get in the door of the car, and he ran up Mulberry, heading towards Frederick Street. But the hospital was pawning it off, blaming you all, and I will tell you that I learned a lesson. They also told me you all owned the landing pad. That's not true. So there's one problem, and believe me, I'm going to help you because I'm going to find that administrator if it's the last thing I do, because they put me on the runaround. And my whole purpose is if a youngster or even you or me or anybody else hits one of those needles, you know what can happen. But when you see that picture, that is terrible for the hospital to allow that to go on. And the house that was raided up on North Cannon, across from Sheets's, they're going back over the back of that house. It's a mess over there. And I showed the mayor, and I hated to show her, but right on Matthews Alley, where you're going to close, someone defecated right on the street, a human. So we're taking it in our hands over there to help. And the Sheetses, I have already been in touch. I went to school in Altoona. Lived in Altoona for a while. I knew the Sheets brothers that started that business. I knew a few little connections up there. I'm going to work them again because the lady I think you met with is the lady I spoke with, and she cleaned it up that next day after she reviewed the tapes, sent me a $15 gift card. But that wasn't the point. The point is Sheets's is causing you all a problem, and all the neighbors over there are blaming you, but I set them straight tonight. And then the issue, and I apologize to Councilman Brucci, the stadium, they're all blaming you. We did not know that that's a private enterprise. I mean, you look at my face, I mean, everybody, what in the heck are they building a stadium for when all this going on? But we did not know until she set me straight on that and you set me straight. So I owe you $1 for that. I bet him $1.
You're
but
forgiven. You're forgiven. It's fine.
He corrected me. That's the problem. You people are being blamed for it. But I'm going to tell you what. I blew my fuse at that hospital. And when I mean I've had Captain Langston over there twice. I've had Officer Router. I've had other officers. They've come over and picked those needles up. I bagged them, tagged them, gave them to them faithfully. And I am not going to allow that hospital to blame the police department or you now that I know what's going on, and I'm going to go every day and pick those needles up. And if I have to take them out there and dump them on the administrator's desk, I will do that. So I'm here to tell you that I'm not out to cause you all, but I learned what the situation was because I thought, wait a minute here. The police have been over here 8 times in the last 3 days at your garage, and first of all, the door was wide open for 3 months. They were living in there. So I'm not dumb anymore, and my neighbors aren't dumb. And look, the more pressure you put on them, I mean, for the man telling me it's under contract, and you are the problem, I'm not going to go for that. And the neighbors, they are well aware of the robbery. To call the police department, the OD, I'm telling you, there's a bad meth problem right now, and I see it firsthand. Women run down the street with their clothes off at 2 in the morning. I mean, they're out all hours of the night, but the problem at 2 South Mulberry and around the corner of that building across from the barbershop in East Washington was taken care of this past week when they threw all the stuff out in the parking lot. And they're gone. So that it was day and night right in front of us. I mean, they didn't care. They were selling the drugs, that's over with. But that street still has some issues, and I pointed out some trash. People, I saw a man in the garage put the whole sofa right on the street up Matthews Alley. I mean, but I have learned a lesson, so I'm here to tell you that I'm going to help you with the hospital in Sheets's because I live on Mulberry that looks up to Sheets's, and I'm seeing what's going on, and I purposely walk up there. I've been walking, and I'm not done with the Venice. It's been sold. But when I went back there, you wouldn't believe what's behind that area. It looks like the trash dump. The bushes have grown up, but when those leaves go off the trees and the things die, take a walk around where those cones are before you get to the diner and take a look to the right. You're never going to believe what's over there. It is piled up this high. They were living over there. They were defecating over there. And the other place I'm going to tell you that's right here in this city, walk up East Antietam and go down the hill towards Award Beauty School and look behind the German restaurant at that building that was on fire. There are people sleeping in defecation. There are needles. It smells like a toilet. And they were sitting there smoking crack and shooting up right in front of me. And there's a TV that's laid there now, I think 60 days, it's smashed. And if you walk up, just take a walk down the hill and look in between the back of the German restaurant and that building caught on fire. And I'm going to tell you what, you're not going to go very far when you see the smell. So I'm going to help you all. I'm not out to get any one of you, but my neighborhood, that block's not going to put up with it anymore. So the police told us to call them, but the needles, I'm going to get them, and they're going to go in that container, but I'm going to get that administrator one way or another if I have to go out there with the sign, so you might have to bail me out. So there I am.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. All right. Up next, we have an approval of the minutes.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the approval of minutes as presented for the mayor and council meetings held on August 3rd, August 10th, August 17th, August 21st, August 24th, and August 31st, all of 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move that all the consent agenda be approved as presented. Second.
Seconded by Tiara. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Of approval of an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Hagerstown, Chapter 10, entitled Hagerstown Loan Review Authority, to add qualifications of members.
Madam Mayor, I move for the approval of an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Hagerstown, Chapter 10, Article 13, to add a section 1064 establishing certain qualifications for members being appointed to the Hagerstown Loan Review Authority. This code amendment will require the Hagerstown Loan Review Authority to be comprised of persons with knowledge and experience in fields such as banking, lending, accounting, or financial management.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introduction of an ordinance, land management code amendments for small-scale breweries, distilleries, and wineries.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council introduce an ordinance to amend Chapter 140 Land Management Code of the City Code. These amendments modify the definition of small-scale breweries, distilleries, and wineries, and increase the square footage permitted by special exception in specific zoning districts. The complete details are outlined in the attached ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of a resolution, snow services contract with Hart's Landscaping and Snow Removal LLC.
Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor, hereby move for mayor and council approval of resolution to authorize the execution and delivery of an agreement between the City of Hagerstown and Hart's Landscaping and Snow Removal LLC for snow services as needed.
Second.
Seconded by Shelley. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Hagerstown, the Washington County Department of Social Services, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, the Maryland State Police, Hagerstown O-Barrack, the Washington County State's Attorney's Office, Safe Place Child Advocacy Center, Maryland State Department of Education, Office of Child Care, Region 7, and the Washington County Health Department.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of a resolution to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Hagerstown and multiple parties creating the Washington County Child Advocacy Center. The CAC provides services to the children of Washington County who are victims of sexual or serious physical abuse. The Hagerstown Police Department assigns a detective to this facility to handle city cases. This MOU is consistent with current practices in this area.
Second.
Seconded by Takesha. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of resolution fiscal year 22 strategic demolition applications.
Madam Mayor, I move for the mayor and city council approve resolution indicating approval of modifications to the city's applications for FY '22 strategic demolition funding From the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, as discussed on July 13, 2021, the applications request $200,000 in funding to assist with Life Safety Plus program and $547,097 in funding for architectural costs associated with the Dolman Black Heritage Museum.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of a resolution, lease agreement with the Foundry Pop-Ups LLC for the City of Hagerstown property located at 6 North Potomac Street, Hagerstown, Maryland.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council to approve the attached resolution authorizing the lease agreement with the Foundry Pop-Ups LLC at the City of Hagerstown property located at 6 North Potomac Street in Hagerstown, Maryland. The lease is conditional upon the business receiving state funding. The beginning term of the lease shall be no earlier than November 1st, 2021, but no later than January 1st, 2022. The approval provides that the city administrator and/or the city attorney may make administrative and non-substantive edits to attached agreement if necessary prior to execution.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Acceptance of offer of dedication for Brill Way and a portion of Click Way.
Madam Mayor, I move for the approval of resolution to accept the offer of dedication for Brill Way and a portion of Click Way in the Hillside Manor development. The city will commence full maintenance responsibilities of the segment of the street effective immediately.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of a memorandum of agreement with the Washington County Soil Conservation District.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move to authorize the city to enter into an agreement with the Washington County Soil Conservation District to partner with the city to complete future stream restoration projects. This agreement provides the city access to the Washington County Soil Conservation District's resources, grants, and design-build contractors.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of after-school program, BTJ Dance Group.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and council approval for the funding of the BTJ Dance Group after-school program that is held at the Suman Avenue Community Building. The Hagerstown Housing Authority provides a variety of constructive after-school programs to area youth. This program runs for the 2021 to 2022 school year at a cost of $3,500.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of after-school program at the Parkside Community Center.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for mayor and council approval for funding of the after-school program at Parkside Community Center. The HHA provides a variety of constructive after-school programs to area youth. This program runs for the 2021 to 2022 school year at a cost of $18,881.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Policy addition for Partners in Economic Progress Program.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve the attached policy addition to the city's Partners in Economic Progress Program guidelines for the duration of the state's Project Restore Grant Program and subject to funding availability for the city program.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of Barbara Ingram School for the Arts Foundation Holiday Lamp Post Decorating Project.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for approval of the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts Foundation Street Lamp Holiday Project. For the 11th year, the BISFA Foundation has requested to partner with the City of Hagerstown to decorate the street lamp posts in City Center by selling sponsorships for personalized holiday banners. BISFA is seeking approval to use the lamp post for their program and will take care of the labor to install the banners. BISFA volunteers and/or a contractor will follow city guidelines for their installation, and volunteers will sign hold harmless agreements, and/or the contractor doing the installation will provide the city with a certificate of insurance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the City Center Holiday Parking Program.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council to approve the City Center Holiday Parking Program that allows for free parking each weekend commencing at 5 p.m. Friday evenings and every Saturday and Sunday in the University District parking deck and the Arts and Entertainment District parking deck beginning Friday, December 3rd, 2021 through Sunday, January 2nd, 2022. Normal parking operations will resume on Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Parking at the street meters and parking lot meters will continue to be free after 5 p.m. weekdays and every Saturday and Sunday as is normally throughout the year.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we get to city administrator comments, I would just like to welcome Senator Vivian Davis Figures, who is here, senator from Alabama. So welcome to our house here in Hagerstown. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Roll Tide.
City administrator.
Nothing for me tonight, Mayor.
Kristen?
Write it down, it might be the last
I'm
time.
telling you.
2 items. The first is in relation to the email communication regarding, obviously, the positive test that we've had here at the city. I don't think we're immune any more than any other private or public entity that experiences that through the current period. I guess, for me, I would like clarification on 2 items. One is if individuals that are identified as unvaccinated are required to remain in quarantine for a specific period of time, if they are required to use their personal, built sick time for that purpose. I don't know the answer to that. And then the second is this, and I certainly empathize with the situation. I'm trying to differentiate between the 2 components of that equation. The first half being we're going to have positive test results. That's just going to happen. I think we accept that in this stage of and climate of the process. But the second half of that is obviously if the virus is equally transmissible regardless of vaccination status, the process by which we have determined to treat individuals differently because it is clearly evident at this point in our understanding of the situation that any individual, vaccinated or not, as part of that second half of that equation, does have the ability to transmit, regardless of that status. And so I'm just confused, I guess, as to what the differentiation would be on that second half of the equation.
Answer to your first question is yes. They use their own time, their own built-up sick time, unvaccinated or vaccinated. If they're out sick, that COVID leave is ended 6-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. Secondly,
Wait a minute. So, Kristen and I share an office. Kristen tests positive. And then I need to quarantine also, right? Mm-hmm. And I gotta use my sick time because Kristen tested positive.
that's correct.
I don't
That's
know.
correct.
I got a hard time with that when you're forcing someone to take leave when they aren't sick and they aren't showing any symptoms or anything.
That is a standard practice,
I think we need to revisit that.
okay?
Are they able to work from home?
They are able to work from home. In fact, most of them are. If they do work from home, then we are not charging them leave if they do work
Okay,
from
well, you didn't
home.
say that.
Yeah, I didn't ask that part of the question.
Huh?
To be fair, I didn't ask that part
No,
of the
you
question.
did.
Well,
I didn't either.
I guess for me, the difficulty is the differentiation between the 2 status, given the fact that the virus is equally transmissible by both parties.
It,
Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying. We're following what the CDC outlines as proper quarantine for unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Vaccinated, even though there is facts out there that say it is equally transmissible, it still is one where it is less likely to be transmitted from unvaccinated to vaccinated. which is why we allow those folks to come to work, but stay masked up when they are in a, they can't social distance or they aren't in their own office. But unvaccinated, we know that it is much easier to get the virus, so we make them quarantine or work from home.
I guess for me as a worker, I would not feel any more comfortable if I were in an office where there were 6 individuals and the individual exposed that was vaccinated was still working alongside. You know what I mean? To me, it wouldn't.
Well,
wouldn't
that's
make a
why we
difference.
encourage folks that if they're in that situation, if you're vaccinated in that situation, you are more than welcome to wear a mask if you're within close proximity of those folks.
Welcome to the new norm.
I just want to make sure we're not opening ourselves up to any liability associated
Right.
issues because we've made the
No.
assumption that they're safer
Yeah.
than another group when science has clearly indicated that both groups are equally unsafe.
The director of HR has looked into that with the labor attorney, and there is no case yet for that. They feel very confident that it does not put the city at risk as long as they understand that we're following the policies that are outlined, and it is a best practice, the way we're handling it here. That's not to say that there won't be a challenge to that at some point.
Okay. Second item I have is obviously, and these are 2 more serious items this evening, but it is what it is obviously, everyone's aware I have multiple children that go to multiple school districts. I would love to be able to speak to the comfort level that may exist or that I may feel or not feel within those multiple school districts that exist throughout this county. However, the reality is I sit here in this seat, I represent the city of Hagerstown, and therefore, while my children may go to other school districts outside of the city, as well as school districts inside of the city, really I can only speak to the hand that we may have in ensuring safe, successful, secure, positive results of the school system that exists in this city. We provide resource officers to those schools in this city. We're not the town of Williamsport, so I'm not speaking to that, or Clear Spring or Boonesboro. We're the city of Hagerstown. We have 2 of the largest high schools in this county. We have multiple middle schools and the greater share of elementary schools in this city. Being a parent of children at all 3 school levels, and I realize we are 3 years now into a return to some degree of some normal process of the educational environment. I have concerns that at least some of the school systems within the city, that exist, that I believe that we have to play a role in ensuring, to the degree that we can, are achieving those positive, secure, safe learning environments that we want for our children. I don't get that feeling at this time from things that citizens and other individuals have conveyed to me. I'm going to say very plainly to the folks in this room who are clearly aware, just so I am as publicly transparent as possible. As you may know, my brother was principal at South Hagerstown High School. I have not spoken to my brother in quite some time, so I did not get this conveyance from that relationship, but rather from other individuals. I drop a daughter off at South High every morning to pick a bus up to somewhere else, and I have kids in Lincolnshire, Springfield, and McKay-Dowd. And so when I hear things that are going on social media, when I hear things like football games, experiencing fights and regular fights in the middle school, and individuals attending sporting events that include both students and parents in verbal and physical altercations, I have to question why we're not hearing from the Board of Education on steps that are being taken to address those issues. I think that as a city, it's incumbent upon us to have those conversations both with our public safety officers as well as the school system to see what hand and what role we can play in that process for the schools that exist in our city to improve that learning environment.
We can arrange it.
Yeah. I spoke with you in my office, but just so you guys are aware, Kristen and I spoke about this last week, and I did talk to Chief Kiefer earlier today, and we are going to talk to the SRO at South High and then arrange a meeting with the Board of Education to discuss these ongoing issues.
Good.
Hold that thought. No. Tara?
Today's the day. There's always a national day, right? Today is voter registration day. As an advocate for voting initiatives, I encourage everyone to take time out of this evening to register to vote. And also, if you are registered to vote, to check your information to make sure that your address is updated. And you can find more information on the Washington County Board of Election page. Thank you.
No, I'd like to give these to Senator Vivian Davis and Troy. That's it. Yep.
Thank you.
Nothing this evening.
All right, well, I have a couple things. One, I just wanted to congratulate Kitty Clark and everyone that worked on the Imagine Hagerstown Festival. Friday night was the last one for this year, and it happened simultaneously with Thunder in the Square, and also 2 sold-out shows at the Maryland Theater. So Friday night, it was hopping downtown, and I left downtown around 9:45 at night to go pick up my daughter, and every single restaurant was packed. There were people in the streets. There were people still hanging around University Plaza. It was just an incredible night in Hagerstown. So congratulations to everyone involved in that. And speaking of Thunder in the Square, which is organized by the Alsatia Club, they are indeed having a Mummers Parade this year. As of right now, there are about 60 people down, or 60 organizations down that usually participate. A lot of which is because people don't know the Mummers Parade is happening, because they kind of just made the final decision. So if you're normally in the Mummers Parade, please consider joining. It's the largest nighttime parade on the East Coast and always a good time. Also wanted to thank Shelley, Councilmember McIntyre, for making an introduction to No Picks After Dark podcast. Shelley had met Aaron in Baltimore, and he came up here yesterday to do a podcast with me. We did like a quick tour of Hagerstown, had lunch, and him and his videographer, who are both from the Towson and Baltimore area, were so thrilled about what was going on in Hagerstown. And it always blows my mind because everyone not from Hagerstown that comes to Hagerstown loves it here. And then everyone here in Hagerstown complains about Hagerstown. So it was refreshing to see people who wouldn't normally come here acknowledge all the progress that we're making. And he's going to come back and do a podcast with all of the women, which is probably going to be a show. So stay tuned on that. Also, this coming Saturday, sorry, it's kind of conflicting with yours, but we're going to make it all work, okay? We're having our second community cleanup. Just like last time, there's going to be multiple locations throughout the city, and all that information will be updated on all of our social media platforms, and Herald Mail is also going to cover it. So between 9 and 9:30, there'll be different locations around the city where you can get gloves and trash bags, and then there'll be a number that you can text where you leave the trash. Our Public Works Department will come pick it up on Monday. So we ask that everyone come out and participate and be a part of the change that we all want to see here. And with that, we are adjourned, other than you guys, if you could stay so we can take a picture in our purple supporting Washington Goes Purple, since this is the end of Recovery Month. Thank you.